Hello and welcome to your messages for the week. Today is Sunday, the 13th of November, 2022. And for a lot of people, especially in Britain, I guess you would call this Remembrance Sunday. And I'm going to put a link in the description and the video in the end screen of a video I did last year on the 11th of November. And it's just a reminder about the importance of being in an expanded state. Okay. The universe is expanding. We want to expand with it. We can't grow and evolve if we're in a contracted state. And if you are focusing on those that lost their lives in any wars or anything like that, and you're doing it from a place of grief, despair, bitterness, resentment, sadness, injustice, anything like that, any of those low frequency emotions, then you'll be in a state of contraction, which isn't going to help anyone. Okay, not you, not their souls, no one in the future, nowhere, no one in the now moment. It's not going to help anybody to be in that contracted state. So if you are remembering people, then I urge you to do so with an open heart of love and gratitude and appreciation, because that will keep you in an expanded state. And we can remember people focusing on the love that we have for them and the gratitude that we have for them. It's the same with all forms of grief. You know, once you have processed the contracting stages of grief, then you can look back with the love and the gratitude for what has been, and compassion for everybody, yourself most importantly, because when you really love yourself and have compassion for yourself, then you don't want to put yourself in a contracted state. So for our own self-love, let's keep in an expanded state of love, gratitude, appreciation and compassion for yourself, for those that we're remembering, and for everybody, always. That's what I want to say. And so, okay, so we're halfway through November. If you haven't seen the messages for November, I will put a link in the description and the video in the end screen for that as well. So you can have a look. And that was all about finding the path to love, the path to finding love. Sorry, I got that the wrong way around. The path to finding love. Okay, so have a look at that if you haven't done already. So let's take a deep breath. And I invite you to activate your own intuition so that you can pick up your own messages. Take that breath down to the belly. Oh, that came out when I said that. Take that breath down to the belly and inhale and activate your highest level of consciousness. That came out when I said that. Set the intention that you are going to pick up any messages that are for you. The question is, what does your soul want you to know at this time? If it doesn't resonate, it's not for you. Okay, if it resonates, it's for you. So with that and no further ado, I shall have a look at the cards that have come out. There was a fifth one. I could just feel that there was a fifth one wanting to come out. And yes, that's it. So I don't know what they are. They're face down, our usual way of working. Let's dive straight in. We have the Knight of Pentacles. Pentacles is earth. Okay, there's a connection here with Mother Earth, always bringing it back to Mother Earth and how we are energized through Mother Earth, I want to say. The Mother Earth provides us with our divine feminine energy, and the sun provides us with the divine masculine. I think I've talked about this before. And we through our chakras, through our meridian lines, however you want to view it, all the ancient philosophies refer to this, but they all use different terms and words, of course. But we can just be barefoot in the sand, barefoot on the grass, with our face in the sun, or our face towards the cloud that is covering the sun, if that might be the case. And we can just visualize that masculine energy coming in and that feminine energy coming up. and it meeting at the heart, because what he's doing, horses are positive movement forward, and pentacles to me, it is typically money, but for me it's money, time, resources, and energy. And how we spend our money, our time, our energy, and our resources is a reflection of us. It's an extension of us. It's an expression of our souls, how we choose to spend our time, of our money, our energy, and our resources. Sorry, I've got something in my eye. And so he's focusing on that. He's focusing on how he uses the energy that he has. Everything is energy, right? And how he uses his time. He's going in the right direction, but he's slow. Pentacles are slow because they're earth, they're heavy. So this card is associated with slowness. Which is good. I think there's a message here to slow down. Okay, the message here is to slow right down. If you're concerned about how you're spending your time, and people they'll often say to me, I haven't got time to do this, or I haven't got time to do that, or they think that a lot of the advice that comes up in the cards takes time, meditating, resting, and people just think I haven't got time to do that. They don't understand that you're a human being, not a human doing. And sometimes we can't afford not to take those times out, because it's about raising our frequency. And when you raise your frequency, obviously the frequency of the creation, the life that you are creating, the reality that you are creating, the reflection of you and who you are is going to be higher vibrational if your vibration is higher. I think my dog agrees with me. And so I'm wondering if he's got anything else to say. Oh, he has. So basically, okay, Sunny. So basically, raising your frequency is going to improve your outside situation. It's understanding that is really important. It's raising our level of consciousness is what's creating heaven on earth. It's not how hard you work. Definitely not. It's not how much you are a martyr to your circumstances. No, definitely not. It's not how much you deplete your energy serving others. No, definitely not. It's not all of those things. It's about you spending the time, money, energy, and resources on you and raising your frequency and expanding your level of consciousness. So taking time out for you is invaluable. And because people can't see the link between doing that in the outside world, I just want to remind you that things called miracles do occur. And those of us that have experienced them realize, how do miracles occur, right? One of the many ways, of course, is by focusing on your own self-love and your own frequency, and then seeing outside of you massive changes that you wanted to happen, but you didn't think you could create. And then you realize that by doing nothing, they've manifested. And there's your proof that it's your frequency that has changed. Okay, let's see what the next card is. Yes, there's your thinking. Okay, because she was in a cloudy place. She couldn't see clearly. Okay, she couldn't see clearly. And now she can see clearly. You can see that there's no clouds up there. She's let go of all of those thoughts. And I want to say she's let go of her resistance. I want to say that as well. And I think this is quite relevant. I don't know whether this is a little miracle or not. Time will tell. But I had my 3-day event on the 10th, 11th, 12th of November, and we had a thunderstorm in the night of the Thursday and Friday morning. And so I woke up on the Friday morning with a obviously very busy day booked. And I walked into the tent, which is the garden retreat, and it was completely flooded. And I was really surprised at how much peace I had in my heart. I was really surprised. I didn't panic. I didn't get annoyed. I wasn't triggered, basically. I wasn't triggered at all. So I had the busiest day for however long planned. The tent had about, I don't know, 3-4 inches of water all over the bottom. The rugs were all dripping wet, of course. I had to take everything out. It was so wet I couldn't have mopped it up. I had to sweep the water out and then mop up. So this beautiful setup that I had, and I did put a picture on Facebook, the beautiful setup that I had was completely drenched. And I was hanging rugs all over the garden, and it was still raining. And I had to let go of this expectation. This is what I'm getting round to. I had to let go of this expectation that everything had to be perfect, and that I can't work unless the tent's looking perfect. Like, is that true? Is that true? No. You know, and I just letting go of everything, and I felt so much peace. And because I was coming from a place of peace and not a place of resistance, it was all effortless. Yes, I swept the water out. Yes, I mopped up. Yes, I had to put the rugs out. Yes, I had to do various things, to put the heater on to dry everything out. Yes, I had to do all of this, you know, in the rain, but it felt okay. Everything felt okay. And I was like, this is really weird, because normally I'm a little bit anal about how things have to be. That's what I released. I obviously released my expectation, my resistance to the way, my control over the way I thought things had to be, and my resistance to the fact that the tent got flooded on my busiest day. It was amazing. And then that piece, you know, stayed with me. And it was really weird because it rained all day and yet no more rain came in. I don't know how the water got in. Everything was closed up. And yet it carried on raining all throughout the day and no water came in. So I kind of think that my not resisting, that peace in my heart, see, what you resist persists. So if I had had resistance to the situation, I think it would have just got worse. Do you know what I mean? But because I had peace in my heart, I then had peace. Now you know, I'm not saying that it's never going to leak again. I don't know. I don't know. But for me, there was a miracle there somewhere. There was something that I just released so much of how I thought things had to be, the control, you know, this has to be like this and this has to be like this before I can work, before I can share what I do. You know, I had all these kind of little anal, I don't know, ways of doing things. And it was just the universe telling me, you've got to give it all up. You just got to let it go. You just got to go with the flow. You just got to see what happens. And it was perfect. Everything was perfect. You know, no one was bothered. You know, we had dry blankets and, you know, people wrapped themselves up in dry blankets and put their feet on a towel. I mean, it was so not the way one would plan, you know, and yet it still worked beautifully. So it was a real lesson to me. It was a real lesson to me on releasing expectations, releasing resistance to what is. Releasing resistance to what is. And bring it back to that quote, and I think I said it last week, from Eckhart Tolle, and I can't remember it exactly now, but it was along the lines of when you realize that your life is a choice, when you think things are out of control, remember that you always have a choice. And so when things that you're looking at are not as you would like them to be, like a flooded tent, I choose to allow this moment to be. I choose to allow this moment to be. So when you're faced with stress or difficulty or something outside of you that you're not happy about, it's not going your way, it's not the way you planned, it's not the way you wanted to control things, you know, I choose to allow this to be, you know, whatever it is. I choose to allow this moment to be. And that's kind of what I did. And in his quote, Eckhart Tolle says, as soon as you do that, I choose to allow this moment to be. What was irritation within you gets replaced with acceptance. And from that place of acceptance and peace comes right action. It's so true. I mean, that's been my lesson this last couple of weeks. So I guess I just want to share it with you guys. But it's so true because the action that I had to take to get the tent ready, it was effortless and it was choiceless because I didn't really think about it. I didn't have to think about, what am I going to use, a mop or a broom, or what bucket am I going to use, or how am I going to do this? What's the best way? I didn't think. I just did. And the peace in my heart stayed there. And it was, for me personally, it was a massive one. Okay. So this is like a real personal, like, experience that I'm sharing with you guys now. But she's making me think about it. He actually made me think about it, and I put it away. I was like, no, you don't need to talk about your personal situation. And then she came up and made me like, no, you do have to talk about it, because I think there's some relevance there. We all face things that we don't want to face. And it is all about not being triggered. So I am going to put the video in the description, a video in the end screen, and the link in the description to understanding triggers, because I'm such a big fan, and anyone that watches my videos knows I am, of this. It's a self-healing tool. What can I tell you? It's a self-healing tool. And when you keep practicing at it and you keep practicing at it, then you stop being triggered in the end, because you have processed those emotions and you have replaced them all with love, compassion, and peace. And that's what you create from. And it's so liberating. She's also a sign of liberation. She's been liberated from, that's what she can see clearly. Okay, because it's all in the thinking. You see, the sword is non-physical. It's thoughts and beliefs, and inspirations and things like that. And she can see clearly now. So it's this, we think we have to be a certain way, and we think things have to be a certain way, and we think we have to try and control others to be a certain way, especially if we're like a mum or something, or a dad, I guess, of course. But that letting go is everything. She's my let go card. She's my let go card. Let's see what the next one. We've got the King of Swords. I mean, I love this as well. When you get the couple, there's love. There's love there. And I want to remind you that you are a divine being of love and light. And this is about loving others as they are, without trying to change them, without trying to control them, without trying to tell them what to do, loving them exactly where they are. But I also want to point out that when we do that, it's a greater act of self-love for ourselves. Because when we don't love people as they are, and we're always nagging them and trying to change them in some way, then we're kind of saying, you're not good enough as you are. Why would we say that to somebody? Because we've spent our whole life feeling that we're not good enough, haven't we? So why would we do that to somebody else? We're trying to tell them what to do, how to think, how to be. Even when we think we're coming from the heart, we think we're coming from the heart, don't we? Because we love them and we want to help them improve their life. But if they haven't asked for help, if they've asked for help, that's okay. But if they haven't asked for help, then we're telling them they're not perfect as they are. When we can let go of trying to control other people and trying to tell people what's best for them, without loving them as they are and accepting them as perfect as they are. And when we do let go like that, and I think this happens with spouses as well, I want to say partners, because they've come up. So I'm thinking as a parent, but also as a partner, but also as a friend, also as a teacher, also as a neighbor, and everything else that we are, right? But when we let go of trying to change people, of course, they then join the dots for themselves. They change for themselves. What you resist persists. So if you are nagging somebody about something or hitting your head against a brick wall about something, that's why you're hitting your head against a brick wall, because the situation's going to keep persisting. Because you've got to find the peace in your own heart, and you've got to love everything and everyone exactly as they are. And when you let go, they will then make more conscious choices. And they will be able to join the dots up for themselves. You can't join dots up for other people. That's another thing that came to me this week. If life is all about self-realization, and he is very much about self-realization, he's mental as in mental processes, the swords, mental processes. We just said there's like thoughts and beliefs and things like that. The first Hermetic principle, the principle of mentalism, right? So it's a really important one. I'm going to do a video on the 7 Hermetic principles at some stage. But anyway, this whole idea about controlling other people and trying to control other people, it creates suffering within us anyway. It makes us not feel good. No one likes to nag. No one likes to, you know, and you're being conditional with your love. Have you thought about it that way? And then you're going to say, yeah, but what they're doing is really wrong. It's really bad. It's really unconscious behavior. They've got to change. And it's just like, is that true? But also understand how the universe works, understand how energy works, because the more you keep pushing, the more they will keep doing, because that's an energetic thing. It's not personal to you. It's how quantum physics works. So let go for their sake, but more let go for your sake. Let go because you're creating your own suffering. So love them unconditionally and they will change. Love a situation unconditionally and it will change. Love a situation, love everything unconditionally and everything will change. That's our challenge. That's what we came here to learn. Oh, look, the sun. It's the most positive card in the deck. I like that because I've just literally said love everything unconditionally and everything and it will change. And the horse is a positive movement forward. It's like a rebirth. If you want something to be born again, if you want something new to come in, these are the rays of the, you know, spiritual guidance coming in. The sun is the light. It's the light. It's you. You are the light. And when you realize that, because it's about self-realization, isn't it? And the more you, our journey of evolution is one of self-realization. And if you keep trying to change somebody outside of you, then you're taking away their opportunity to realize things for themselves. Their journey is about self-realization. It's not about mum made me realize or my partner made me realize, or it's not about having somebody else join those dots. You've got to join the dots for yourself to see the picture. You don't want somebody coming in, joining the dots for you and drawing the picture for you. Can you imagine that? You're drawing a picture and somebody comes in and finishes it for you. No, you want to join the dots for yourself. Because if you don't join the dots for yourself, you haven't had that realization. You haven't had the self-realization. We have to have our own aha moments. We have to have our own aha moments. If they're going to be self-realization, if we're going to evolve, if we're going to grow spiritually, if we're going to raise our level of consciousness, you cannot have a self-realization moment for somebody else. That's a really important point, I think. Let's have a look. There we go. Death card. I think this is actually a perfect card to end on. It's got the greatest capacity for transformation. Horses, positive movement forward. We've got 3 horses going on here. Right. And this is slow because that's how we've been working. We've been like slowly trying to change stuff, haven't we? But this is like understanding, be the water, go with the flow. Water doesn't get stressed. If it gets blocked, it just goes around it. You know, it was like me in the tent. There was no stress whatsoever. I just got into action, cleared it up, and there was no worry about anything because what will be, will be. What will be, will be. And it all worked out perfectly. I felt so liberated because that part of me that was anal about the way things had to be, that part of me that wanted to control the situation, that I let that go. And it's the most beautiful transformation. It was the death of that part of me. It's egoic as well, isn't it? It's a death of the ego. It's the death of whatever it is that's stopping you from letting go, from surrendering. You know, surrendering to your own light. What's the worst thing that can happen? When you understand that everything is happening for your benefit and you are divine love and light and the power of God flows through you, then get out of your own way and let that beautiful power and light flow through you. Because that's where the greatest transformation is. And this is what we're doing now. We're creating heaven on earth. This is the death of the old paradigm. This is the death of that fearful way of living, the death of the control, the manipulation that were brought up in, the density. of what's been going on in society, being held back in so many ways. And the more you raise your frequency and expand your level of consciousness, the more you can see unconscious behaviors. And you can just see them for what they are. No resistance, remember? See them for what they are and accept them on some level. Doesn't mean that you're bringing them into your reality, but you're letting them be because everything exists. Okay? So you're not trying to change it on the physical world. You're trying to change you on the energetics. If you can change inside you, okay, and you can be aware of your own unconscious behaviors, and you can be aware of the things that that need to change within you to bring you freedom. If there's control outside of you, the way to release it from your reality is to look within and see, where am I trying to control myself? Where am I trying to control my circumstances? Where am I trying to control other people? Where am I trying to control the way things happen? You know, even if it's little things like how my day should go or how the tent should look. You know, anything like that. Find out where you're doing it, because if you're observing control and unconscious behavior, unloving unconscious behavior in the collective, it's because somewhere it's in you on a smaller scale, maybe, but release it from within you. That's where the transformation lies. Then it will not come into your reality. And that's how we heal the collective. And that's how we change, by changing us. We hear it all the time. It sounds corny, doesn't it? Change starts within. But from an energetic perspective, from a frequency perspective, that's exactly how it is. And I think understanding how we create our reality and understanding our own energy, it's everything. If we're going to access this level of transformation, if we're going to transform into heaven on earth. And who doesn't want to transform their life into heaven on earth? And even if you're living in heaven on earth, like a lot of us, it's like we don't even know how much better it could be. You know, we're comparing it to how it was and we're thinking, oh, I'm living in heaven on earth. And I'm like, no, I think there's even more heaven to be experienced in all areas of life. So it's the transformation starts within, starts with you, starts with keeping that peace in the heart. And really, you can see the difference outside. So what triggered you doesn't trigger you anymore. And the unconscious energies, shall we say, or the low frequency energies that were you know, upsetting you, they don't come into your reality anymore. Only the peace, only peace will come into your reality, because that's what you have in your heart. We create from our heart. We create from our heart. So, yeah, let go of that part of you that's trying to control people, things, circumstances, situations. Let go of it. Embrace your own freedom, your own light. And then that's what you're going to create on the outside of you. And that's how we transform the death of the old way of living and the birth of new heaven on earth. Wow, 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 wow. I'm going to put a link in the description as well to a book I was listening to about the 7 Hermetic Principles. Because when you understand the laws of the universe, I mean, it's like Nikola Tesla says, if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency and vibration. And when you understand the Hermetic Principles, which are basically the laws of the universe, then and how to apply them to your life. The audiobook I'm going to share is is kind of quite heavy going and lengthy. As I said, I am kind of inspired to do a video on it and simplify it for you. So keep your eyes open for that one. So if you want a private reading with me, then get in touch, link in the description, and have a fantastic week. I love you all. Bye for now.